Live to Fox 11's Gina Silva in Highland Park with some answers tonight. Gina?
Marla, Christine, the council voted 12-0 to pass the Sanctuary City Ordinance. But I can tell you, not everyone who is undocumented thinks this is a good idea.
I'm just as American as anybody else, except on paper.
Yeah, everybody feels that way. I mean, and I feel bad for this guy here. And if he's here undocumented and was probably brought here as a child or something, I understand that. But everybody acts like laws don't matter unless you like them. If the Democrats find that they have cities that they have mayors and city councils in, and in these cities, they want to make them sanctuary cities with tax-paying citizens' dollars. I just don't think it's right. I don't think you have the choice in a democracy to make that call, to make a city a sanctuary city when there is nothing in our Constitution about sanctuary cities. And if there was ever going to be a sanctuary city in the United States, it should have been made for black people. And we would have went there. If there was a city or a state that black people could have gone to and not been lynched and not be treated bad by the police and have opportunities economically, that's a sanctuary city or state. And that should be built for people who are citizens of this country who have been wronged.
DACA recipient Eduardo Carmona was brought to the United States at the age of 8. For decades, he has been trying to obtain legal status in this country.
Like, we keep getting passed over when in reality it's like, God bless the USA, right?
You might.
Yeah, if he's been here since he's 8 years old, he's like really entrenched in the fabric of the country. And that's just the sad part too, is that our immigration laws are so relaxed that we allow innocent people in. At 8 years old, he couldn't have told his parents, no, I don't want to go, or any of that stuff. So he ends up here in the middle of all this mess. And, you know, now the administration changes, the laws change. This kid could be deported. This young man could be deported. That could happen. And I think our Congress needs to take it seriously, come up with a border law, immigration policy that they can all agree on, where they're not going to drag other things in that have nothing to do with the border so the other side walks away. Has to be completely on the border. Our border should be the priority of the Republicans and the Democrats.
Assume Eduardo would be pleased with the LA City Council's approval of a sanctuary city ordinance, but you'd be mistaken. He calls it a waste of time.
The federal government does not need the cooperation of the Los Angeles city to enforce the policies that they're planning to pursue, and they are running the risk of losing funding from the federal government, which would ultimately hurt its
legal analyst.
Well, if city officials who are put in place to protect us, from the city council on down to the beat cop on the street, then they just let you know they don't really give a damn about our safety. Just allowing people, they're not stopping these people at the border one by one and patting them down and then letting them into the country after they run some kind of surveillance background check on them. They're not. These people are coming in under the cover of night. They're coming in with no one knowing that they came in, just flooding through the border entrances, and we all just have to deal with it. You know, cities just have to absorb that. No, make a real sanctuary city that's empty, that has accommodations for sleep, accommodations to feed and do all that stuff, and make that a sanctuary city, and find some way to budget that. And it seems that if you're able to do that kind of stuff, then you should be able to do that kind of stuff for homeless people. We have a homeless issue over here, and we're talking about sanctuary city. Do you know how that sounds to black people? Do you know how that sounds to homeless people? Do you know how that sounds to poor people? Sanctuary city. Sanctuary.
Mary David.
We don't want people to feel like they are silenced, that they don't have help out there.
Says the LA Sanctuary City Ordinance will help police build trust with the immigrant community.
That they can still go to law enforcement, report crimes, that there doesn't have to be this break in the relationship and a break in distrust. Because
distrust, if you come here illegally as an adult, then you have to deal with the consequences. If you have children in tow, you're going to be separated from them because you chose to break the law, and you're going to be arrested, and the children shouldn't have to go to jail because you do. And the United States is going to have to absorb that just by allowing it to happen in the first place, by allowing there to be a breach in our border where these people can physically get here. We have to tighten it up, and we have to all work as a team and quit this sanctuary city shit. You're talking about an entire community of people who do not agree, who may be assaulted, who may lose their job, who may miss out on opportunities because of the resources going to the illegal immigrant community. And these people who I'm speaking of are American citizens who didn't ask for this. So I don't think they should be punished in this way.
Law enforcement has worked very hard in Los Angeles to build relationships with the immigrant communities.
Well, if they know who they are and can identify them, they should be getting them out of the cities. They shouldn't. There should be not an apartment in the city of Los Angeles occupied by an illegal immigrant family. It just shouldn't be. Not when families who are here legally are looking for places to live. Has nothing to do with race. It has something to do with being here legally or not being here legally. And a sanctuary city is a far, far reach for any city to make. And we got them all over the country, and it doesn't make any sense.
And we don't want that to be disrupted.
Wednesday's vote establishes protections for undocumented immigrants by banning the sharing of information with ICE.
When Los Angeles first instituted the sanctuary city law back in 2019, this was a fight with the White House. That was when President-elect Trump was in office, and then he tried to restrict funding to California based around this. At the time, the courts ruled that that was not admissible, that you couldn't restrict funding in that way. But we do have a different set of justices now.
Eduardo called.
We certainly do. And that's something that needs to be thought about. Maybe these justices, maybe even President Trump, maybe anybody who is against sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants is on the right side of things. Maybe they are. Because you're taking away and depleting the resources from the legally arrived citizens. Some people stood in line to become citizens. Some people were born here to become citizens and have come from horrible past here in this country. And then we only get to stand by and watch a whole city protect the police department, the city councils, all these elected and hired officials on our tax dime to do what? To protect illegal immigrants above citizens? Because that's exactly what's happening here. I just disagree with it completely. And I like to know how you guys feel. Do you guys really think that it's cool for them to come in here and take our shit? I mean, like this, and for us to be okay with it. And if you guys aren't aware, there's some, what do they call it when they all gang up together and start heading toward the United States like they did last time when Biden was about to win, and they felt he was going to win, and they started coming. Well, they're doing that again, just in groves coming in because they know Biden has 2 months left, and if they can get it in the United States within that 2-month window, then it's a good chance they're in, because they don't believe Trump is going to really follow through with this immigration deportation thing he's talking about. And a lot of people like myself don't think it's going to be as effective. As it's a harsh thing to hear out of somebody's mouth, because we've never heard no shit like this. But he's saying he's going to deport, mass deportation. A whole bunch of people going to go. And he's saying this shit. And we're all going, whoa, what does that look like? What does that feel like? How does that even happen? You know, it's like, whoa. Well, that would make people stop coming toward the country, because you're thinking, oh, shit, this guy is really going to deport us this time. He's not playing. He's going to do it. It make you not come toward the U.S. But when you got a guy like Biden who really feels illegal immigration is legal, which I feels that way, I have never understand it. Kamala Harris, the same way. These are the Democrats that so many people support. I used to support. I supported them completely because that shit seems to make sense when you're not thinking rationally. And when you start thinking rationally, you start thinking, wait a minute, we got too much shit over here that we don't have to be reaching out and shielding an entire class of people and ultimately giving them the opportunity and putting them on the track to live better lives in America than people who've been here over several generations. So I just don't think it's right. And that's how I feel about it. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing except fairness and us voting and getting what we vote for. You vote for 12 LA City Council members and all 12 of them vote to make your city a sanctuary city. That make you think different when it comes time to vote again.
Calls the sanctuary city ordinance a symbolic gesture with no real concrete action.
As opposed to asking for sanctuary, I want them to encourage both parties to come together for legislation.
The sanctuary city ordinance still needs the mayor's signature, and she is expected to sign it. Marla, Christine, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
And she will sign it. And that's another example of a member of our Congressional Black Caucus, Karen Bass. Prior to running for mayor of LA, she was a member of the correct Congressional Black Caucus. And you know what she did? She ran for mayor, and she's going to make it a sanctuary city. Did she ever push, pull, or pry to try to make any city, any jurisdiction, any county, any plot of land in the United States a sanctuary for black people? Because one needs to be had. We need a fucking sanctuary. We do. And I would be a fool to sit here and advocate for a sanctuary for folks who have not paid a dime into this country. And I'm a part of a race who paid our lives into this country. So hell no. No sanctuary cities for black popcorn. And that's just the way it's got to be. And let me know how you guys feel about it. Am I tripping? I mean, I am a person who has evolved to what I am today, which is not a damn Democrat. So I'm definitely open to more evolution. And if anybody got anything that's going to help me in my growth, please contribute in the comments. We'll read over them. And I'll see you guys on the next Black Popcorn. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe.